Number 10. Twinkie Spider-Man. Woody Harrelson's character from Zombieland would be ecstatic. While originally a crossover advertisement deal between Hostess, you know, the company that owns Twinkies, Snowballs, and those cupcake snack pastries, and Marvel, the Spider-Man of Earth 51914 is an official member of the Spider-Verse, being defeated by Morlun in the first Spider-Verse comic in 2014. This sweet Spider-Man has all the same powers as our 616 spider-based hero, only he has the added benefit of using Hostess snacks as equipment to distract, lure, and reason with criminals, and even get out of tight spots in his relationships, like when he gave Mary Jane a cupcake so he could slip away to fight crime. Yeah. Using his pastry-based equipment, he was able to defeat The Fly, Printout Man, Simon the Evil Swami, Madame Web, Legal Eagle, an unnamed jewel thief, Chairman, Homewrecker, Demolition Derby, Photo Man, Hotshot, Junjitsu, Larsenius Lil, and the Human Computer. So yeah, that's not just a sponsor, it's an added ability that puts him a cut above any regular old Spider-Man. Number 9. Spider-Man Noir. When darkness falls on New York City, only one hero in a black fedora and a trench coat can use his keen detective skills and the powers bestowed upon him from a spider god to solve crimes and protect the citizens. It's Spider-Man, see? A grittier, more serious and ruthless world calls for a Peter Parker who is much the same, and a Spider-Man Noir is definitely that guy. After he seeks out revenge on the Goblin for taking away the life of his Uncle Ben, he goes to a warehouse where a spider idol containing thousands of spiders is broken. One of these spiders bites Peter, and zim zim zalabim, Peter has visions of a spider god and is granted abilities. Spider-Man Noir may not be the most powerful character in the Spider-Verse, but he has the power of popularity on his side, being a fan favorite character ever since his introduction, which is why, in my opinion, he is one of the only Spider-Men to survive Morlun, despite whatever excuses the comics gave. Number 8. Peyton Parnell. I think this is the most terrifying version of Spider-Man I have ever seen. Maybe even more so than Spider-Man. Peyton Parnell, or Patton Parnell, is nothing like Peter Parker. He's a sociopath, a maniac, and he has the ability to transform into a monster spider-slash-man hybrid with 8 eyes, 8 limbs, and massive spider-like fangs. Seeing this bald monster thing crawl around your walls and your ceiling? That's scary enough, but knowing he ate at least 3 people, including his uncle, and can implant hundreds and hundreds of baby spiders into you just by biting you, is absolutely nightmare-inducing. Luckily, he gets defeated pretty soon after his creation by Morlun, but at the time Patton Parnell from Earth 51412 was around, he was very powerful and very scary.
Number 7. Shuri. Shuri is actually Black Panther's sister, and I gotta say, I love her as Black Panther. Shuri actually always wanted to be Black Panther ever since she was a young girl. At one point, her brother T'Challa agrees to train Shuri to help her prepare for becoming Black Panther should that day ever come. And come it did, so I guess it's good they did that training. Black Panther at one point becomes the king of the underworld, ruling alongside Bast, and in his place, Shuri is crowned queen, and also takes up the mantle of Black Panther. Like her brother, Shuri is exceptionally smart, strong, and is also a skilled fighter.
Number 6. TAKUYA YAMASHIRO. Instead of being Peter Parker, the Japanese Spider-Man, Spider-Man, is Takuya Yamashiro, a motocross racer and son of astrophysicist Dr. Hiroshi Yamashiro. Unlike most versions of Spider-Man, Takuyuwa was introduced through a live-action Japanese Spider-Man TV show. With that, his character differs quite a bit. For starters, his spider powers are a little less powerful due to budget constraints for the show, which is a hilarious reason. But to make up for that, he utilizes a whole mech named Leopardon, Power Ranger style, with arm rockets, a giant sword, and a boomerang. Classic. He uses Leopardon and his spider abilities to fight the Iron Cross Army. It's a group of suspiciously human-looking aliens from an unnamed world who are led by, wait for it, Professor Monster. Due to his popularity and just how awesome he is, Takuyuwa Yamashiro has become an official character in the multiverse, coming from Earth 51778, fighting against the Inheritors alongside the Spider Army, and he is set to appear in the second animated Spider-Verse movie, which I am pumped to see.
Number 5. Darkhold Iron Man. As we glimpse into the Darkhold, we get to see into the much darker reality of Earth 21129 when it comes to Tony Stark's tale. Here in Darkhold Iron Man, issue number 1, we meet meet Tony Stark, who becomes obsessed with the armor that he's building, despite the fact that once in said pieces of armor, they cannot be removed, as they bond to Tony in such a way that removing the armor also removes his skin. In essence, we learn that the armor is kinda like feeding on Tony Stark's organic makeup, fully bonding with him. When he wears the helmet, this becomes evident when we learn that skin and bone are melting away, as the suit has, well, no need of them, because they're like, hey, we're armor, so you don't need that. This Tony Stark is eerily powerful as he threatens to take over the world with his technology, offering everyone the infinite and permanent safety of his suits, at the cost of their own organic lives and bodies.
Number 4. Miles Morales. He is possibly one of the most popular variants of Spider-Man to come into the Marvel multiverse. And for good reason. Miles Morales is an incredible character. He has almost all the regular spider abilities plus some amazing powers unique to himself, namely his venom, which is like a form of bioelectricity that he can emit from his body and use in some really cool ways, like in punches, beams, and blasts, as well as at long range using his webbing. But it doesn't stop there. He is also able to use a spider camouflage to make his whole body and even his clothes and costume go invisible. And he is apparently immortal, as a side effect of the Oz formula that gave him his abilities. Miles hails from the alternate universe of Earth 1610, which fits, because he is an ultimate version of Spider-Man.
Number 3. Ghost Panther. Ghost Panther is a version of the hero who also boasted of the powers of Ghost Rider. He hails from the Infinity Warp reality, which was created when Gamora folded the universe in half using the Infinity Stones. This caused souls in that reality to merge together, creating amalgamated heroes and villains, which also included Ghost Panther. Ghost Panther is T'Challa, who also at one point used the stage name of Johnny Blaze as a stunt motorcycle rider. He has the combined powers of Ghost Rider and Black Panther. Instead of riding a flaming motorcycle though, while in his ghostly form, he rides a flaming giant Black Panther, which is pretty cool.
Number 2. Penny Parker. This Parker from Earth 14512 doesn't actually have any powers of her own. So how is she at the number 2 spot? Because of the totally awesome mech SP//DR suit worn by her father before his demise, and that is half controlled by a radioactive spider. First appearing in Edge of Spider-Verse number 5 in October of 2014, Penny and the spider mech are essentially able to do anything, as she doesn't actually have any written limitations yet. Yes, that's a lame reason for her to be so powerful, but it is a legit reason all the same. The mech suit is outfitted with weapons for basically any situation a story calls for, and defenses that would put pretty much any other Spider-Man to shame. Why is she not higher up? Well, because all this could very easily change, and also because there is one variant of Spider-Man who is an ultimate universal threat. Number 1. Bully Maguire. The dance moves, the hair, the suit, able to flirt with anyone, demands promotions with a flick of his hair, unaffected by social norms, finger guns that could bring down an entire neighborhood, and a swagger that has everyone and their moms turning their heads. He is Bully Maguire. First appearing in Spider-Man 3 in 2007, this variation of Spider-Man has underneath his devilish suits a black venom-bonded spider suit that enhances his abilities and personality and gives him the awesome ability to throw some dirt in your eye that will make you lose your job. But if you want forgiveness, get religion. Bully Maguire has the unique ability to take to the internet, invading many different realities, including our own. Because of this, he has gone up against and shamed too many opponents to count. Thanos, Steve Harvey from Family Feud, President Joe Biden, Will Smith, characters in Star Wars, SpongeBob SquarePants, and the list goes on and on and on and continues to grow. There is truly no one safe from Bully Maguire, even me. Shout out to Arishan the Judge, who commented, "Bully Maguire is one of the most powerful beings in the universe. He possesses presumably all the same powers as the Prime Spider-Man." You weren't wrong and you inspired me, so thank you. Number 10. Lord Iron. I will never turn up the chance to talk about Marvel 1602, otherwise known as Earth 311. This Earth takes a bunch of the Marvel characters we love and plops them in the Elizabethan era. And yes, that includes Iron Man. Going by the name Anthony Stark and Lord Iron, his armor is powered by quote-unquote lightning bottles, and was created when Anthony was captured in the Holy Land during the English-Spanish Wars, and treated rather harshly by the Hulk, resulting in the requirement of the suit to survive. Anthony is sent on a mission to hunt down Banner in the New World with his technologically advanced suit. Now look, this suit in comparison to other versions of Iron Man, it's not the most advanced and powerful suit, but when looked at with the scope of the technology at the time, it's centuries ahead of its time, being nearly on par with base Iron Man armors, only it has a super sweet lightning sword. Like, damn bro, it's nice.
Number 9. Original Tony. Technically I'm talking about a version of 616 Tony here, but this isn't even really like the 616 Tony. Not the one we have now anyways, although at one point this was the 616 Tony. This version of Tony ended up getting amalgamated with his younger self to give us the version that we have now, because this version ended up fighting his younger self. Yep. It all happened as part of the Crossing event. Ah yes, the Crossing event. What a marvelous time. During that event, it was revealed that Tony was actually a sleeper agent for Immortus, aka an alternate name and persona of Kang the Conqueror's. He is activated and ends up becoming somewhat unstoppable when it comes to the Avengers' power to defeat him, and Kang. Instead, they enlist the help of a younger Tony Stark from the past, who actually almost dies fighting against his older self. In the end, however, Tony has a change of heart, and he basically sacrifices himself to save his friends and the world from Kang. However, as I said, this version of him would later be resurrected and then amalgamated with the younger Tony, who remained in 616 in his place. Together, they would give us the Tony Stark that we know and love today in the comics.
Number 8. Exiles. Tony Stark, the undisputed monarch of Earth. What? Take a man with the intelligence, wealth, and power of Anthony Stark and make him unbothered by any kind of sense of morality. That's a man who can bring the world to its knees, but has the sense to not let them know it, and then be begged to take charge. Tony Stark of Earth 42777 acquired every world conglomerate. He organized a mutant war against humanity and then defeated their leader, Magneto, created a worldwide famine the likes of which was never seen before, and then invented the cures and vaccines to fix it, and then he got elected president. He developed weather controlling technologies to create biblical level natural disasters in Europe and Asia, having them beg for help to the point of giving up control. Central America and Canada had economic down spirals that brought them into the fold too, and he made a deal with Dr. Doom, who had attacked the Capitol and then taken out all the other democratic leaders in America, who he also destroyed after receiving a blast to the face that left him disfigured just like Emperor Palpatine. He's de-lifed the Hulk. This version of Tony Stark is ruthless and powerful. Number 7. Spider-Ham. Hailing from a verse where all the Marvel characters are replaced with cartoon character animal versions of themselves, Peter Porker is Spider-Ham, a pig. Peter Porker was actually born a spider named Peter, and he lived in the basement lab of May Porker, a scientist who had created the world's first atomic-powered hairdryer. May Porker, using the atomic hairdryer, accidentally irradiated herself, and then bit Peter the Spider, which made him turn into an anthropomorphic pig, just like her, only with the relative powers of a spider. In his premiere issue, he would go on to do battle with Hulk Bunny, created when Bruce Bunny was trapped in an arcade cabinet and bombarded with gamma radiation. Look, I wish I was making all this up, I really do. Spider-Ham has most of the same abilities as 616 Spider-Man, only he has this rather unique ability called Spider Nonsense, which basically allows him to be more and more cartoony the more danger he is in, which is the perfect reason to have the wackiest nonsense happen that will save this piggy hide in some of the most imaginative ways possible. This power alone helps him to be an extremely powerful Spider-Man, or pig. Number 6. Ultimate Universe. Having your mind and body altered by an Infinity Gem sounds like it could go pretty much anywhere, but fittingly for Tony Stark, it led to him being able to physically and mentally interact with pretty much any computer ever. That's a pretty good ability for someone who flies around in a technological suit of armor. The Antonio Stark of Earth 1610, or the Ultimate Universe, has basically become part man, part machine, being able to project his mind into computers and androids, allowing him to be nigh unkillable, proven when the Master, Reed Richards, seemingly brought his demise, but he became a non-physical entity which could manifest itself via computer systems. When actually physically inhabiting an Iron Man armor, he gains the usual abilities, plus force fields and cloaking. He's also got nanites in his bloodstream that he uses to control his suits, as well as open locks, defuse boom booms, and interact with all forms of tech. This Ultimate Universe Iron Man, like quite a few of the other Ultimate Universe characters, is pretty ultimate.
Number 5. Earth X Black Panther. On Earth X, Black Panther is the one who guards the Cosmic Cube, being noble and powerful enough to be entrusted with such a valuable item of power. Captain America gave him the Cosmic Cube to guard, believing that T'Challa would protect it, even from Captain America himself, if he had to. On Earth 9997, T'Challa would also end up married to Storm, aka Aurora Monroe, and when the Terrigen mists caused the world to mutate, he would become more Panther-like in appearance. Likewise, the animals in Wakanda would also mutate, and they would actually become more humanoid in appearance. T'Challa from then on referred to them as the Annie-Men, and also believed them to be kind of a manifestation or a symbol of Wakandan gods as well. Black Panther on Earth X, thanks to his further mutation, is actually believed to be even more powerful possibly than his main continuity counterpart.
Number 4. Iron Goblin. Earth 19919, or the Spider Island, basically saw the city of New York taken over by the Spider Queen, who infected millions of people, including heroes, turning them into monstrous spider people. Agent Venom of the Resistance began using other monster transforming techniques. This includes injecting the Hulk with the Lizard Serum, using the Godstone to turn Captain America into a werewolf, and Captain Marvel was turned into a living vampire. For Iron Man, he was sprayed with the Goblin formula used by Norman Osborn to save him. This gave Tony Stark super strength, speed, stamina, durability, agility, reflexes, and a regenerative healing factor. You know, the superhero starter pack of abilities. Plus all the technology of the Iron Man suit. Unfortunately, the serum also has the side effect of making people maniacal, paranoid, irrational, and illogical. Not wanting to go fully insane and to make up for his crimes as an arms dealer, the Goblin Iron Man wielded the Ebony Blade, one of the most powerful weapons in the Marvel Universe, and sacrificed himself to save the Resistance. Number 3. Zombie Spider-Man. I know a lot of people are tired of hearing about Marvel zombies. Well, too bad! He's a powerful version of Spider-Man, so you know what? Just kind of deal with it, okay? Cool, alright. Yes, Zombie Spider-Man is essentially the same Spider-Man everyone is used to. All the same powers at least. Except after being bit by a zombie, he now also has a ravenous hunger that cannot be sated no matter what, which led him and a group of other heroes to consume the Silver Surfer and Galactus, which gave them all the power cosmic. With this power cosmic, the zombie Galacti have the ability to absorb and tap into ambient cosmic energy into their bodies at will and expel those energies, like channeling beams of energy through their hands with destructive force and teleporting through time and space, devouring entire planets. With this power, they have the potential to phase through objects, accelerate the evolution of life forms, see the past by peeling back the layers of time travel, and manipulate, absorb, and discharge any form of energy or radiation. Though Spider Zombie loses all of his power, he still had it, and was an incredibly powerful version of Spider-Man. Number 2. Iron Lantern. Ah, yes, the Amalgam Universe, combining the world's two biggest comic book companies, DC and Marvel. Pitting popular characters from both sides against each other and even fusing some characters together. One incredibly cool amalgamation would be between Iron Man and Green Lantern. Harold Stark, HAL for short, was the founder of Stark Aircraft, and while test flying a prototype aircraft, it suddenly took off on its own to a crashed alien spaceship, and it too crashed. The crash left shards of metal in Stark's chest, which, after meeting the dying alien Romancer, Stark survived using an alien battery, suspiciously in the shape of a lantern, to build a suit of armor. This armor not only kept him alive though, it gave him the ability to create green solid energy constructs, fire plasma bolts, fly at speeds beyond the speed of light, time travel, it granted him almost unlimited telepathic powers, translation of virtually any language, force field generation, and the ever classic superhuman strength and durability. Yeah, he'll put his hand on your chest.
Number 1. Infamous Iron Man. Who is Infamous Iron Man? Well, he's Dr. Doom as Iron Man. I know this might seem like a controversial pick for our top spot, but walk with me, or I guess just stand with me, because I can't really walk anywhere. Dr. Doom, despite being a villain, is one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe. He's not only a genius, but is the ruler of a nation known as Latveria, wielding all the power of his country, his people, and the nation's resources, as well as being an extremely gifted magic user. In fact, there are even futures where Doom becomes Sorcerer Supreme, and if it weren't for Clea showing up in the 616 universe, he would have become Sorcerer Supreme after Doctor Strange died. Also, a lot of what stops Dr. Doom from winning the day is his role as as a heel for the heroes, a villain. So when he decided to take up the mantle of Iron Man in Tony's absence, he became pretty much unstoppable, because now there's no reason for him to technically have to lose battles. He's not a bad guy. Well, he's kind of a bad guy, but he's a good bad guy. Villains even banded together in fear of what action Doom might take against them as Iron Man. And when they did band together, he still showed up and then beat them all. So yeah. Number 10. Azuri. King Azuri is T'Challa's grandfather. He is the father of T'Chaka, who ruled Wakanda during World War II. Before T'Chaka was Black Panther, Azuri was. He was rumored to be a brutal man who basically beheaded anyone who trespassed into Wakanda and possibly hunted outsiders for sport, displaying their heads on spikes. In reality, although he was pretty harsh and had no qualms with killing and beheading those who refused to leave at his behest, he was not completely unreasonable and would only seemingly attack those who actually refused to leave Wakanda. So he wouldn't just straight up kill people usually, he'd just be like, hey, could you like get out? If they didn't get out, he's like, well, okay, guess I'm gonna behead you, I guess. When Captain America came to Wakanda, Azuri asked him to leave, and when he refused, they fought. However, it was through this meeting that Azuri would gain some tolerance and respect for outsiders in his land, believing that Captain America could actually be a really good symbol for the US, like Black Panther was for Wakanda. Azuri has powers similar to the Black Panthers who had come before and after him, but was well known for his ruthless nature, having no problems with killing his opponents when he needed to. Number 9. Ultimate Black Panther. In this reality, T'Challa was the younger brother of M'Baku, who was meant to become Black Panther and King instead. Jealous and overconfident, T'Challa decided to take part in the Panther ritual ahead of his time, before M'Baku did. The dangerous trial involved hunting and defeating a Black Panther, and as a result of attempting it, T'Challa was maimed with his throat actually ripped out. The king was worried about losing his son and was forced to reach out to the US for help. They were able to save T'Challa, but Nick Fury also forcibly recruited him into S.H.I.E.L.D., refusing to release him back to Wakanda and his father. And although this sounds really harsh, apparently Fury did believe that it was because, you know, T'Chaka maybe was behind the fact that his son got so injured. Initially, T'Challa was not super gifted when it came to combat, but after training with Captain America, he proved to actually be a really great fighter. This version of T'Challa does not speak as his vocal cords were severely damaged in the Panther attack, or completely gone. Actually, I think they're completely gone. I feel like if your throat's ripped out, vocal cords probably don't exist. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you are loving this list and you want more lists like it, be sure to show your love for Black Panther in the comments below. Number 8. Killmonger. For a short while in the comics, Killmonger took up the mantle of Black Panther. He did so after defeating T'Challa in ritual combat. Pretty impressive considering that T'Challa would still have been Black Panther at this point, and unlike the film version of this fight, didn't actually have to depower himself in order to fight Killmonger in issue 20 of the 1998 Black Panther series, considered volume 3 overall. Although they do have to fight for a long while, even needing to both take breaks, which seems to have a toll on Black Panther's normally heightened senses, and is probably why he lost this fight. Killmonger may have not had the heart-shaped herb, which he did not ingest before adopting the mantle, but he is known for being a brilliant mind in the comics, super strong, and basically a genius inventor. He made plays to try and maintain his power, even trying to get in with the Avengers as T'Challa had previously done, but eventually did himself in by trying to ingest the heart-shaped herb. Due to the fact that in the comics N'Jadaka is not related to T'Challa by blood, the herb poisoned him as he didn't have royal blood in his veins, and he actually ended up in a coma as a result. So it didn't work out well in the end, but he was still able to be a Black Panther, which I think is pretty nuts. Number 7. Superior Iron Man. Superior Iron Man is actually a version of Tony from the main continuity, but he's so devious and fantastic that I had to include him. What can I say? I'm obviously a sucker for an evil villain version of Tony Stark, as this is the second one that I've mentioned on this list. I just feel like Tony has so much potential as an amazing villain, and honestly I would rather see him as a villain than a hero. I know that might be a hot take, but there it is. And you might even say he's not just an amazing villain, he's a superior villain. Ho! Superior Iron Man came about as a result of Iron Man avoiding the re-reversal of alignments back to normal near the end of Axis. You see, Scarlet Witch had cast a spell which accidentally inverted the alignment of a good number of Marvel's premium heroes and villains. Well, she meant to invert them, but not all of them. She meant to invert one of them, and then everyone else got affected too. Oops. Among them was Tony. When this was reversed, so Tony would go back from being evil to good once more, the super smart Iron Man found a way to shield himself, resisting the reversal back to being a hero. Instead, he remained a villain who simply passed himself off as a hero. This version of Tony isn't just smart, he's diabolical, and his lack of ethics means he's willing to do things that his regular, more heroic 616 self wouldn't. Number 6. Coal Tiger. T'Chaka II is the son of T'Challa from the MC2 alternate Earth/future. T'Chaka is named after his grandfather, T'Challa's father, which is also why he's the second of that name. T'Chaka can transform into a panther-like human hybrid and goes by the name of Coal Tiger in this universe. In his animal-like form, he is considered even more powerful in terms of his strength, speed, agility, and senses. We don't know who his mother is in this universe, I don't think, but MC2 is a universe filled with heroes' kids who grow up and basically become supers in their own right, such as Spider-Woman aka May Parker, who also hails from MC2 or Earth 982 and is the daughter of Spider-Man and Mary Jane Watson Parker. And it's also pretty much the reason why we have that universe, which is a cool one, so yay.
Number 5. Superior Spider-Man. This variation of the Spider-Man is unique for this list. It is Peter Parker from Earth 616, only his body is actually inhabited by the mind of Otto Octavius, Dr. Octopus. But he isn't evil. No, being in the body of Peter gave Otto an insight into Peter's life and motivation, and actually gave him a change of heart. Now we have a Spider-Man with all the powers of Peter Parker, but the super genius intellect of Otto, who vowed to dedicate himself to being the best Spider-Man he could in honor of Peter, who had seemingly been de-lifed while inhabiting Otto's body. And boy, he did that vow justice. The combo of that body with this mind helped him to be one of the strongest versions of Spider-Man ever, with a new enhanced suit and a ruthless way of dealing with criminals. He would eventually sacrifice himself to allow Peter to come back to inhabit his body once again. But man, was this a powerful main universe variant.
Number 4. MCU Black Panther. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Black Panther was played by Chadwick Boseman up until his untimely death in 2020. While the future of the character remains uncertain in the MCU, what we do know is that with Boseman in the role, T'Challa as Black Panther in the MCU proved to be one of the greatest heroes out there. We saw both his capacity to be an inspirational hero who also listened to those around him, with Nakia helping him to see the benefits of revealing Wakanda's true wealth and power to the world so they could actually help others the world over with their knowledge and their technology. Black Panther also proved himself as a hero, defeating M'Baku when challenged for the throne, and later Killmonger, his cousin, with T'Challa trying his hardest to convince Eric to surrender, not wanting to have to hurt a member of his own family, who T'Challa even felt in the end had pretty much been abandoned by his people. He really actually didn't want to fight Eric. He was like, I mean, I guess if we gotta do this, guess we gotta fight. Aside from that, along with the Avengers, Black Panther fought against Thanos twice and in the end won, saving the Earth from his tyrannical tirades. Number 3. Iron Hammer. Iron Hammer is an amalgamation of Iron Man and Thor from the Pocket Dimension universe known as Warp World. Warp World was created when Gamora gained the power of the Infinity Stones and used them to fold the universe in half, merging souls together in doing so to create amalgamated heroes and villains, then feeding those souls to the Soul Gem. Iron Hammer is Stark Odinson, the son of Howard Odin, who is part businessman, part Asgardian god. Iron Hammer wields a hammer and also wears a spiffy set of armor, having the powers of both the 616 versions of both of these heroes. Number 2. 1 million BC. This Black Panther is actually believed to be the first to have ever existed. He belonged to the Panther tribe and was the one to discover the valuable vibranium meteor, which would later grant the nation of Wakanda their strength via technology. This Black Panther belonged to what is believed to be the first ever Avengers team, the Stone Age Avengers, or the 1 million BC Avengers as they are sometimes known. Other than Odin, this Black Panther was the first person to wield Mjolnir, being declared worthy by the hammer and therefore able to do so, which is also pretty crazy. Number 1. Star-Lord. In the Disney Plus animated series What If, we got our own alternate version of Black Panther featured as a main character, also featuring Chadwick Boseman's final MCU performance in the episode where he voiced T'Challa for the last time. Here T'Challa has a different different fate. Instead of remaining in Wakanda and eventually becoming King and Black Panther, he is abducted by the Ravagers, with Yondu believing he is the son of Ego that he was sent to Terra, aka Earth, to retrieve. It turns out that Yondu was kinda wrong about that, but aside from that, Yondu also becomes quite attached to this kid. T'Challa joins the Ravagers, excited to explore the cosmos with them, and ends up becoming Star-Lord, a character who is insanely powerful and who basically defeated Thanos with like a simple conversation, convincing him that what he was doing was pretty much wrong. So no snap in this universe. Instead, Thanos ends up actually as Star-Lord's ally, crewmate, and friend, which is also pretty cool.